Imagine a man who went from persecutor to preacher, from a staunch enemy of the Christian faith to one of its most fervent advocates. The story of Paul, once known as Saul of Tarsus, is a testament to the transformative power of faith and the unexpected paths that life can take. But what if everything you thought you knew about this man was just the beginning? Paul's journey is not just a historical account. It's a powerful narrative filled with twists, turns, and revelations that continue to impact lives today. In this video, we will dive deep into the complete story of Paul, uncovering the layers of his life that go beyond the surface, challenging conventional beliefs, and offering insights that could change the way you view your own spiritual journey. So, if you're ready to explore the life of one of history's most influential figures, stay with us, because what you're about to discover might just surprise you. Saul's birth and early life. Saul was born into a life of privilege, growing up in Tarsus within a wealthy Jewish family from the tribe of Benjamin. His upbringing was distinguished, as his family's Roman citizenship granted him access to education and opportunities that were uncommon for many. Studying under the guidance of the esteemed Pharisee, Gamaliel, Saul immersed himself in the teachings of Jewish law, becoming a passionate Pharisee in his own right. This foundational period shaped Saul into a figure of significant influence and unwavering commitment to his beliefs. Living as a Roman citizen in a Jewish household gave Saul a unique perspective, straddling two worlds, one rooted in the traditions of his ancestors, the other offering the privileges of Roman society. This dual identity equipped Saul with a broad understanding of culture and power, enabling him to navigate diverse environments with ease. His background, filled with such contrasts, played a crucial role in shaping his approach to life and the decisions he would later make. Saul's early years were defined by high expectations. In a family that valued both faith and status, the pressure to excel was immense. Rather than being overwhelmed by these demands, Saul embraced them, turning this pressure into a driving force for his personal growth. His ability to thrive under such expectations set the stage for his future, where his dedication and resolve would become central to his identity. Under Gamaliel's mentorship, Saul didn't just acquire knowledge of Jewish law. He developed a deep-seated passion for defending his beliefs. This passion drove him to be more than just a follower of tradition. It made him a zealous protector of his faith. The influence of such a mentor cannot be understated, as it molded Saul's thinking and fueled his commitment to the path he believed was right. Saul's path appeared clear, a life dedicated to the defense and promotion of his faith. With his education and zeal, he seemed destined for a prominent role within his community. However, his journey was about to take a dramatic turn, one that would not only redefine his life but also alter the course of history. Saul's persecution of Christians. After establishing himself as a devout Pharisee, Saul became an ardent persecutor of the early Christians, a group known as the Way. His dedication to upholding Jewish law drove him to oppose their belief that Jesus was the Messiah, which he viewed as a serious threat to the faith he was sworn to protect. Saul's zeal in pursuing those who followed Christ was unmatched. He sought out and punished believers with relentless fervor, believing he was safeguarding the purity of his religion. Saul's persecution wasn't just about maintaining religious order, it was deeply personal. He saw the rise of Christianity as a direct challenge to everything he held sacred. For Saul, these early Christians were not just misguided, they were heretical, and their teachings needed to be stamped out before they could spread further. This belief fueled his determination to track down and eliminate those who professed faith in Jesus. With a singular focus, Saul pursued Christians across cities, going as far as to obtain letters from the high priest that authorized him to arrest followers of the Way in distant regions. His actions were driven by a conviction that he was carrying out God's will, and this sense of purpose gave him the strength to act without hesitation. Saul's relentless pursuit caused fear among Christians, who knew his name and reputation all too well. Saul's mission extended beyond Jerusalem, demonstrating the extent of his commitment. He was willing to travel to other cities, such as Damascus, to carry out his mission, showing that his persecution was not limited to a specific area, but was part of a broader campaign against what he saw as a dangerous and growing sect. This relentless pursuit of Christians marked Saul as one of the most feared figures among the early followers of Jesus. Saul continued his campaign against Christians. His reputation grew. He became known not just as a Pharisee, but as a force of opposition against the burgeoning Christian movement. However, unbeknownst to Saul, this journey of persecution was leading him toward a pivotal moment that would forever change his life and mission. Conversion on the road to Damascus. Saul's life took an unexpected turn on the road to Damascus, where he was journeying to continue his persecution of Christians. As he approached the city, a sudden, blinding light surrounded him, and he fell to the ground. In that moment, Saul heard a voice saying, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" The voice identified itself as Jesus, confronting Saul directly and challenging the very mission he had devoted himself to. This encounter left Saul shaken and changed his life forever. The blinding light not only stopped Saul in his tracks, but also left him physically blind, a symbolic reflection of his spiritual blindness up to that point. His companions, though hearing the sound, saw no one, leaving Saul alone in his experience. For 3 days, Saul remained without sight, fasting and praying, grappling with the profound impact of the encounter. This period of blindness served as a time of deep reflection and transformation for Saul, preparing him for what was to come in Damascus. A man named Ananias received a vision from the Lord, instructing him to seek out Saul and restore his sight. Despite his initial fear, knowing Saul's reputation as a persecutor, Ananias obeyed, finding Saul and laying his hands on him. Immediately, something like scales fell from Saul's eyes, and his sight was restored. This physical healing mirrored the spiritual awakening Saul experienced, as he was then baptized, marking his official conversion to the faith he once sought to destroy. Saul's conversion was not just a personal transformation, it marked the beginning of a new mission. From this point on, Saul would no longer be known as the persecutor of Christians, but as Paul, the apostle of Christ. This name change symbolized his new identity and purpose, spreading the gospel to the Gentiles. The man who once hunted down believers was now one of them, a powerful testament to the transformative power of faith. Paul's conversion is one of the most remarkable in history, demonstrating that even the most fervent opponent of a cause can become its greatest advocate. His experience on the road to Damascus not only changed his life, but also set the stage for his future work as a missionary and leader in the early Christian church. Paul's missionary journeys. After his dramatic conversion, Paul embarked on a series of missionary journeys that would take him across the Roman Empire, spreading the message of Christ to both Jews and Gentiles. His first journey began in Antioch, where he and Barnabas were commissioned by the church to travel and preach the gospel. This journey took them through regions such as Cyprus and Asia Minor, where Paul's teachings began to take root and churches were established, laying the foundation for Christian communities in these areas. Paul's journeys were not without challenges. He faced opposition from both Jewish leaders and local authorities who viewed his message as a threat to their traditions and power. Despite the hostility, Paul remained undeterred, often returning to the same cities to strengthen the fledgling churches he had founded. His perseverance in the face of adversity showcased his unwavering commitment to his mission, and his ability to inspire others to follow Christ. Even under difficult circumstances, throughout his travels, Paul adapted his message to resonate with the diverse audiences he encountered. Whether speaking to Jews in synagogues or Gentiles in marketplaces, Paul demonstrated an exceptional ability to connect with people from different cultural backgrounds. His approach was inclusive, emphasizing that the message of salvation through Jesus Christ was for everyone, regardless of their heritage or status. This inclusivity was a defining feature of Paul's ministry and a key reason for its widespread impact. Paul's missionary work also included the writing of letters, many of which were addressed to the churches he established during his travels. These epistles, filled with theological insights and practical guidance, provided a framework for Christian living and have become foundational texts in Christian theology. Paul's ability to communicate complex ideas in a relatable and accessible way contributed greatly to the growth and cohesion of the early church. As Paul continued his journeys, the influence of his work spread far and wide, reaching into the hearts and minds of countless individuals across the empire. His dedication to spreading the gospel, despite the hardships he faced, laid the groundwork for the expansion of Christianity beyond its Jewish roots into a global faith. Paul's teachings and legacy. Paul's teachings were revolutionary, emphasizing that salvation comes through faith in Jesus Christ rather than through adherence to the law. This message was particularly transformative for the Gentiles, who were now welcomed into the Christian faith without needing to first become Jews. Paul's epistles, written during his missionary journeys and later during his imprisonment in Rome, outlined his theological views and provided guidance to the early Christian communities. These letters, filled with wisdom and practical advice, continue to influence Christian thought and practice to this day. In his letters, Paul addressed a wide range of issues faced by the early church, from moral conduct to the nature of spiritual gifts. He spoke with authority, not just as a teacher, but as someone deeply invested in the well-being of the communities he had helped to establish. His ability to blend theological depth with practical instruction made his writings accessible and relevant, ensuring that they would be read and studied for generations. Paul's emphasis on love, unity, and the power of the Holy Spirit became central themes in Christian doctrine. Paul's legacy is also marked by his unwavering commitment to his mission, even in the face of persecution and imprisonment. His letters often reflect his personal struggles and the challenges of his ministry, yet they also reveal a man who was deeply convinced of his calling and who found strength in his faith. Paul's perseverance in spreading the gospel, despite the numerous hardships he endured, serves as a powerful example of faith in action and has inspired countless believers throughout history. Beyond his theological contributions, Paul's role as a bridge between Jewish and Gentile Christians was crucial in shaping the early church. By advocating for the inclusion of Gentiles and breaking down the barriers that separated them from Jewish believers, Paul helped to create a unified, diverse body of Christ. His vision of a church that transcended cultural and ethnic boundaries was foundational in the development of Christianity as a global religion. Paul's teachings and legacy continue to resonate across the centuries, influencing not just the Christian faith but also the broader world. His writings have shaped Western thought, informed ethical debates, and provided solace and guidance to millions. As one of the most significant figures in Christian history, Paul's impact is enduring, and his words continue to inspire those seeking to live a life of faith. As we reach the end of Paul's remarkable journey, we're reminded of the extraordinary power of transformation. Paul's life teaches us that no matter how far we may feel from our purpose, there's always a path forward, one that can lead us to a destiny greater than we could ever imagine. From a fierce persecutor to one of the most influential apostles, Paul's story is a beacon of hope, showing us that change is not only possible but can be life-altering. Reflecting on his words, "I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith," we're encouraged to persevere in our own lives, to hold fast to our faith, and to complete the race set before us with determination and grace. But now, it's your turn to take these insights and apply them to your own life. What will you do to deepen your faith, to overcome the obstacles in your path, and to live out your purpose with the same unwavering conviction that Paul demonstrated? His journey wasn't just about the past. It's a living testimony that still speaks to us today, urging us to trust in God's plan, even when the road ahead seems unclear. If this message has touched your heart, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on your relationship with Jesus. Maybe today is the day you decide to embrace His love fully and allow Him to guide your steps, just as He guided Paul. There's no better time than now to say yes to God's calling and to start living a life that reflects His purpose for you. If you found value in this video, I invite you to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on future teachings that delve deep into the mysteries of the Bible. And if today's message has resonated with you, consider sharing it with someone who might also need this inspiration. Remember, Jesus has a plan and purpose for each of us, and it's never too late to start living in alignment with that purpose. Before you go, I have one more recommendation for you. If you enjoyed this story, I believe you'll love my next video, Why Jesus Had to Meet Moses and Elijah at the Mount of Transfiguration. Bible Mysteries Explained. Click on the card that's on the screen and dive into another incredible, revealing story. Let Paul's legacy inspire you to finish your race with faith intact. May God bless you abundantly, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.